Scrappin with Sheri and page 101 in the sketchbook. Now, I've been really excited about doing the pictures I'm going to do today, but not necessarily this page, because there is a lot going on this page and it kind of makes me nervous. But we're going to break it down and try to make it as easy as possible. Now, I'm going to be using some papers from a couple of different things. My background is from Denim Revival. This is a blue. It's kind of got squares on it, kind of a graphy look with this patchwork on the back. Those are going to be the backgrounds. I've pulled this blue with all the different color circles and then another blue on the back of it. This is from the Shades of Blue collection, I think. And then I pulled some cardstock that's blue orchid. And this was actually in one of our cardstock buffets at some point in time. But I really like the look of it as well. So when I look at this, I immediately think, oh, this is too much. Now, one thing that they did that I will not do, they used one of our border punches and made a border punch all the way around this. And then when they folded that back, you could see the border punch on both sides. That's something that I needed to nix because it just doesn't work with what I'm doing. So let's just start at the bottom. Let's lay out our two base pages. And when I look at this sketch, my base pages are right here. That's this part right here. And then it shows me on each side, I need a 6x12 strip. So that 6x12 strip I'm going to do with this because I want something solid back there. I don't want more pattern to go along with it. And that's one of the things that was throwing me off is there's a lot of pattern going on. But I need 6x12 and I need that for both sides. So I'm just going to cut this cardstock piece in half. This one will go on this side. This one is going to go on this side in just a minute, but let me go ahead and get the rest of my cutting done so we can move on from there. And then it shows me that I've got 6x6 pieces here, 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 and here. Now, if you're any good at math at all, you know that you can get 4 6x6 pieces from a 12x12 sheet. So we're just going to cut 6x6 or 6x12 there. Then we're going to rotate these, stack them together, and just half them at the 6-inch mark again. And I've got the 4 pieces that I need for these 4. Let's move our trimmer out of the way. And let's go ahead and tape some of this down so we can figure out where we are right now. I did it again, y'all. I flipped that cardstock to put the tape on the back of it. Old habits die hard, right? Okay. And then for these, well, I'm looking at it. Look how these do not fit exactly here. They've got a lot more border showing, and if I use a full 6x12, that's not going to happen. I mean, a full 6x6. I think we're going to have to cut those down. So, if you're working along with me, there is no way that that's going to fit exactly. I think we probably need to cut these down to about a 5x5. Because we need room for it to show side to side, top and bottom. I need some space there. So let's try that. That's probably too much. I probably should have gone a little less on that. Too late now, right? Probably about a 5.5 by 5.5 or something along that line. But this is going to fit so much better. Yeah, it gives us a little bit too much room here. Probably a 5.5 would have worked better on that, but obviously not a 6x6 there. I should have thought that through before I even started, because if you kind of cut them all, there's not going to be any space between them. All right. Now, I chose this dot kind of as a tie it all together thing. And I'm happy with the look of it because it does pull in all my colors and it makes everything coordinate. Now, another thing that they did that I need to look at is we've got a border going right along this line over here. And I was playing around with borders. Just as an FYI, these pictures are going to be from our trip to Niagara Falls. So I was looking at borders, and one of them that I played with was this, because we've got all the water swirling on it, and I think I kind of like that. I don't know that I love all the dots showing behind it, but it doesn't really bother me a whole lot. So I think I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to make one more of those. Now, I am using my Border Maker system, and this is an older cartridge. It's called Ocean Wave, and I'm using navy cardstock to do that, just so I have really good contrast when I put this border over the things that are underneath it. Now this one is pretty intricate, so it's hard to punch. You can probably see my whole workstation moving with the effects of the punch here. And it's also an attached border, which means it's still on my paper, and I have to trim that down. So let me get my 12-inch trimmer back. And I know when I trimmed the other one, I lined up the bottom edge of this border with this second cutting line right here, just to make it even. And if I do that on one and I do that on the other, my border should be pretty standard. I knew I didn't want a really wide border there, but I did like the effect of the wavy look, that rippley look. Now, when I look at it, at the sketch, there's also another border here. I think it's going to be too much to do the same border on both sides. So I think I will just do just a plain straight border there, just something to designate the edge, but without making another extra design there. And to do that, I'm just going to do a very thin border. I'm lining up on the edge of my gray mat to do that. Just lining the edge of the paper right along the edge of the gray mat. And we've got those two thin little bitty borders. So those are going to back right up. We got those there. So we've got all the basic elements cut so far. Now let's go ahead and start sticking these down, and then all we've got to do is add our photos. Now, one thing I do feel like I need to do before I start sticking them, on the sketch, it has this corner folded back, and I want to make these all kind of the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do one, and then do the other ones just like it. Now, because this paper is not necessarily directional, I don't have to worry about turning it all the different ways to get these exactly the same, to get them right and directional and all that. These dots are not directionally important. So I'm going to have one there, just like that. There's not a ton of contrast here, but when you notice the sketch again, you'll see that they've put a picture underneath those edges, which is exactly what I'm going to do as well. And my picture is going to provide some of that contrast I need there. So when I started looking at this sketch, one of the hardest things to me was actually picking out which papers to use, because I needed one for these little squares that I really liked both sides of. And a lot of the papers have such a different look on the back, it was just too much, or it wasn't the right color contrast I wanted. But I felt like by pulling this with all the little circles in it, that gave me a lot of ability to match my papers with it, because this is not from the same collection. The cardstock is not from any collection, but I was able to use these dots as a jumping place to make everything coordinate. And you can do that coordination through your papers, through stickers, through embellishments. You can do that a lot of different ways. If you had a border sticker with lots of different colors on it, that would be a great thing to use to determine what colors to use on your layout. Just bear in mind, you need something that ties it all together. And if that's paper, if that's stickers, if that's embellishments, whatever. Just something to tie it all in. Now, I'm eyeballing this. Lots of you have given me lots of ideas about lining things up. Several of you mentioned the T-square ruler. You know, I use my zero centering ruler quite a bit, not always. This would be a good spot to use it probably, because I am trying to line it up the same side to side, and then I'm looking at my space top and bottom to get it somewhat the same. Still got a lot of space there, but great opportunity for embellishing, huh? And then I'm going to slide this paper over here, and that will help me line these up. And here I'm looking at the bottom space and the space between the outside edge of the page here. Looks pretty good. I feel like we're entering a really, really busy season. I know most of you probably stay pretty busy in the fall months. November, December particularly are really busy in our lives. So I've been trying my best to make some pre-designed pages, to get some pages done ahead of time, particularly Christmas, so that I can be prepared when I get that onslaught of major Christmas pictures that will be coming very soon. I have designed a Christmas border collection that I think is really pretty, and I've been debating on whether I want to offer that as an online class. So let me know what you think about that. If you're interested in doing a Christmas border online class with me, we could do it on Zoom. But I just need to know if that's something that you're interested in, or if I should not waste the time worrying about it. But I do like to teach, particularly a start to finish project. And those borders are really fun. So if you're interested in that, just drop me a comment and say, hey, I'd love to do a Christmas border class. And if there's enough interest in that, I'll work it up. I've already made the borders. I've already designed the handouts. I will be teaching those to my in-person customers who are interested very soon. I'm going to be teaching them at an advisor retreat coming up. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I always love sharing new ideas with people. But y'all have been so good to follow along with me. And if you're interested, be sure to send me a comment. You never know what might happen if you show me what you need. All right, and I'm just lining these up kind of right along the edge of the dotted that we have there. Do love that contrast. And then we're going to put this last little border on. And the only thing we've got left are our photos. And I could go two ways on this. I could put this right along the edge on the outside, or I could actually put it onto the blue a little more. I really think it's not going to make much difference. So I'm going to put it on the outside edge of that blue and just leave a little more of that brighter blue showing. I'm using my Rico tape and my silicone mat for this, because it is so very thin. Now, those pages are very true to the sketch, aside from these that we resized because they just wouldn't fit. But let me pull my photos out and let's see what we've got for them. Now, back to the sketch. They used their vertical photos up and down here with two smaller ones inside. And I did go ahead and develop mine pretty much that way based on their sizing. I developed mine the same size and used the white mats from my printer. This is just the title that says Niagara Falls State Park on there. I do like having that. And then these I'm just going to kind of center. I could have developed these just a touch bigger, but for scaling purposes I didn't. And, you know, typically I am not one to just put a few pictures on a page like this. In fact, it occurred to me over and over again that I would really like to add a picture here and here and here and here. But I think for this particular layout, it's probably going to be prettier if I kind of leave it as is. I do have a postcard that they gave us. This was actually our ticket to get on the Maid of the Mist, which is the boat that we rode. I've got that, but I don't like putting it on here where it takes up so much of the space for the decoration. Now, I could have added horizontal pictures through here instead of 2 verticals. I could have put 3 horizontals through here. And, you know, now that I'm looking at it, maybe I do want to add that on. Since that was what this was all about, was riding the Maid of the Mist. That was kind of our big thing that we had planned there. I wouldn't necessarily need this picture, but I just like the look of the bridge with that. This was an observation deck that we went out on later. Yeah, now I've confused myself. I think I'm going to stick with what I had initially, because I do like the look of this layout. I'll just have to add more photos on the next one. But I did allot myself several pages to do Niagara Falls. So let's go ahead and add these photos. Again, I think I'm going to pull that 0 centering ruler here, just to give me some good even spacing. And I'm looking at my side-to-side space here. And look at side to side, top to bottom. My background paper does have a grid on it, so if I wanted to get real picky, I could look at that grid and measure it that way. And this one, when I developed this picture, I knew that there would be some spot I could cut off there without causing a problem. It did take me a little while to develop the pictures for this, to decide which ones I wanted to use, and to decide which ones I could cut down to fit in that smaller area. Yeah, I am finding I like developing the pictures myself. I do have much less waste, but it's also taking me a little bit longer to design things because I'm really thinking about the sizing of the pictures, and I'm also thinking about, oh, I want white border around that, so I need to size it a little bit smaller. I do think in the coming days, weeks, whatever, I'll probably do a little lesson on here about how to use the print to size app, because I have had a good many questions about that. And for those of you who have that Epson PM, I think it would make it a little bit easier for you, particularly when we're going into all the holiday season, when people tend to take many, many more pictures. I think it might be helpful for all of us to just have a little refresher. If you've used the products before, the print to size app, if you've used your Epson PM 400, might just be good to have a refresher course for all of us. All right. So I think in looking at this, you're able to see why I chose this particular paper to draw it all together. It pulls in all the colors of the blues that you see going on in the photos. And that was really my goal with that, was to make sure that everything was coordinated. Now, let's look at what we can do for some embellishment. So in looking for embellishments, the most natural places to go would be where I have collections. So I have the denim collection here. I have the shades of blue here. These are some things I had left from the denim collection. Not really anything grabbing me there. This is really pretty. Enjoying the good life, moments and memories. Lots of fun things on this one. So this one's a distinct possibility. Lots of little banners and things like that on here. So many fun ones. I do really like the look of this. So let's just pull that off as a good possibility. And let's look at where they even put their embellishments. They put a tag here with a little embellishment with it, a cluster here with a couple of little banners on that. So I'm going to try to follow that pretty closely. Now, one thing that I did pull was this little tag, and I just put where we were and the date on that. And I think I'm going to add that right up here. I think it's a good spot. It doesn't really mess up anything. And I'm going to do that with a foam square. This is an embellishment from the denim collection. It doesn't really need anything extra. I'm trying to decide how much I want to overlap. I think I'm going to have it go right out to the edge of my picture right there. And then I'm going to add something with that in just a second. I do really like this, and I may want to pull it right down here. And it is a sticker, so we need to use our powder tool on that, our anti-stick. I'm just going to get the sticky off the back of that so I can use a foam square and it won't stick to everything on the whole page. And then I can just use one of those big foam squares. I'm going to stick that right over here on the side. And it kind of blends in a little bit with where I've got this folded back, but I think I'm all right with that. And that was from the blue collection. I did also find this heart that was from the denim collection, and this word happy that I really liked, but I think I could stick that over here. That kind of pulls me some brown from there. Again, this is just an embellishment, so no anti-stick needed on that one. This one is an embellishment, and I could add that. I think it gets a little busy there, but I think I kind of like it here, or I could add it up here. Maybe that's a good spot to give us a little something on the top. So I'll pull that up. Again, I'm not really covering up anything major in my picture, just some side area right there. Yeah, I like the look of that. I kind of feel like that may be enough here. And you know, the pictures of this I think are just so beautiful. I don't really want to take away from them in any way. I didn't do any journaling per se on this, but a lot of that's because there will be extra pictures of this, extra pages, and I may do some more journaling there. This I think would be nice there, and it's an embellishment, so all I have to do is add the sticky, the foam squares, sorry. And I think I'm just going to add those so they stick out over the edge of everything right there. This is from the denim collection, but it picks up this blue so nicely and kind of ties all that together. And then I had this sticker that says the best day. That was also from the denim collection. It is a sticker, so we're going to make it not a sticker. And then all I have to do is add, I think I'll add a couple just because it's so long and skinny. And I could stick that directly on there. That's kind of pretty with the rainbow right there too. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want it, and it may go there because that's where it's stuck for the time being. Just kind of group those two things together. All right, so I got where it is, I got the date, I've got a few pictures, some words here and here. I really like the look of this layout. Very, very true to the sketch. You don't see me do that real often, but it looks almost exactly like the sketch, even as far as where we put embellishments. So I'm really pleased with this. This is page 101 in your sketchbook. We are nearing the end, but don't worry, we'll keep making videos. And until I see you next time, happy scrapping.